More on this, join the political commentator Tomlinson. Conor, very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us here on GB News. First of all, just on that Snap poll, 7 out of 10 people linking what happened yesterday with the Prime Minister's words. That can't be good, can it, for number 10?
Well, it's not good optics. I'd like to say, first of all, that I don't think Boris is responsible for the people going out and harassing Keir Starmer and David Lammy. I'd like to say also, unequivocally, it's obviously wrong. However, a bit like the film Joker, people shouldn't be surprised when things reach a political boiling point, and some people who feel very atomized, isolated, dispossessed, take it out in a very unhealthy way on the people they see as tyrannizing them through job losses or mandatory vaccination, etc. But the Prime Minister, although he didn't dig the trenches and hand them the guns, he did load them the ammo. And of course, as your previous guest Richard said, it's not the direct fault of Keir Starmer. The only conversation you can have around it is possibly how much responsibility does he bear as a head of an institution. He apologised on behalf of the institution, but it wasn't his negligence, it wasn't his failure on the watch that stopped Savile getting prosecuted. So the claims of the protesters, mobbers, etc. were completely wrong when they yelled at him child molester. They were abhorrent. But that also doesn't mean the Prime Minister is directly culpable for them going out there and being out there, as they always are.
Yeah, but my point is, frankly, it doesn't really matter what you and I think about this, and we could spend all afternoon debating the rights and wrongs of it. My point is that 7 out of 10 people think that the Prime Minister is responsible, and essentially 7 out of 10 want him to apologise. I'm asking you, that's not a good look for the Prime Minister.
No, but it hasn't been a good look for the Prime Minister for quite some time, and we've had a sort of drip feed of Partygate thing, etc. No, I've been one of the people that's been heavily critical of him ever since lockdown was rolled in. I thought that was completely wrong. And I've been one of the people saying he should probably step aside for the health of the country. But also lots of people are getting fatigued, and it seems like he's got a bit of a Teflon effect at the moment, where the more mud you throw at him, well, he's a giant mud monster, so nothing particularly sticks. I think the only way Boris is going to get out is going to be in the May elections, when the Tories have a palpable suffering at the hands of these press stories, and we see it in the voting figures that support for them is down. We saw that in the Bexley by-election in my local constituency, where it wasn't so much that the parties flipped because Labour had a very low turnout, but it was actually most Tory voters just stayed home because they were so disaffected from the party they weren't willing to support it. So I think Boris is going to cling on until then.
What do we think of the reshuffle, Conor? It's somewhat of a demotion for Jacob Rees-Mogg. He's not a full cabinet minister. He's going to attend cabinet, but he's a Minister of State now. And Mark Spencer moved as Chief Whip. What's your take on all of that? What do you think the Prime Minister's trying to achieve by it?
Well, I think it's actually a better role for Rees-Mogg. As anyone knows, he was a former chair of the European Research Group. He has a fair amount of business acumen that's made him one of the wealthier members of Parliament, and his sister was a former Brexit Party MEP. So he's been mired very much in the Brexit and business opportunity circles. The only contention is as a sort of sub-cabinet minister, is he going to get the opportunity to go on TV more and say things that are going to get him in trouble? Because that's one of the things that people have accused him of being a little bit out of touch and have said things that are a bit ignorant in the past. I've also got a speaking engagement with him tomorrow, so if anyone has any burning questions for me to pose to him, please tweet them into GB News. But I do think the interesting thing about this appointment, and particularly the other one with Mark Spencer after the Owen Paterson scandal, is the government, much like giving the knighthoods to Whitty, Van Tam and Harries, they're shoring up the narrative around their conduct in the last couple of years, almost in a sort of backlash to saying this doesn't look very good for the Prime Minister with the scandals, the Partygate, etc. They're saying by allowing some people to possibly fail upwards, it gives the illusion they've been doing a good job all along.
And in many ways, some might suggest also kind of quite a defensive reshuffle, kind of showing up support amongst those people that have been pretty loyal, as you've been suggesting, to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, it's a sort of Shakespearean thumb on the nose to the likes of the Scottish Conservatives who have been calling for Boris Johnson to step down, whereas Rees-Mogg said he couldn't even name who Douglas Ross was and called him a lightweight. To have that then promotion and have Mogg's name in the headlines, well, the Scottish Conservatives' concerns have been shoved to the side, and also Mark Spencer, when he was accused of not only the Owen Paterson handling, but also apparently misconduct around Tory MPs who said, we were threatened to have the whip withdrawn and funding withdrawn for our constituencies, to saying the Prime Minister should be held to account over Partygate. It's again that sort of ratification of the loyalists, that shoring up of the narrative of saying, we've done nothing wrong, we're going to get on with tackling for the country, fie to whatever you've said in the press.
OK, Conor, appreciate your analysis and your thoughts this afternoon. That's Conor Tomlinson there, political commentator, joining us down the line. OK.